Dear students, good morning to all. Warm welcome to Chemistry online class. In previous session, we learned about elements and their classification. So, in this class session, we learn about periodic properties of an element and their properties. What is periodic? Anything which repeats itself after a regular interval is called periodic, and this behavior is called periodicity. So, in this, some of the properties are presented for the elements that are atomic radius, ionic radius, ionization energy, electronegativity, electron affinity. So, these properties are called periodic properties. First of all, we see atomic radius. What is meant by atomic radius? Atomic radius is defined as the distance between the center of its nucleus and the outermost cell containing the valence electron. Direct measurements of an radius of an isolated atom is not possible. So, we using two atoms from this nucleus to adjoint nucleus. So, we depend on the nature of the bonding between the concerned atoms. So, this is divided into two types. One is metallic radius, another one is covalent radius. What is meant by metallic radius? Atomic radius in metals is known as metallic radius, and the atomic radius in non-metal is known as covalent radius. That is half of the distance between the nucleus of adjoint metal atoms or non-metal atoms. For example, we take hydrogen molecule, that is distance between the two hydrogen nuclei of the molecule is 0.74 Armstrong unit. So its covalent radius is 0.74 divided by 2 is equal to 0.37 Armstrong unit. We look at the figure, you know very well how it will be calculated. Okay, now we go to the how atomic radius is presented in the periodic table. Along the period from left to right, the atomic radius of an element decreases. Whereas along the group from top to bottom, the atomic radius increases. The increases down of the group due to the increase in the valence cells. So, the cells increases, so the atomic radius also increases. But in periods, the electrons are accommodated in the same cells. More and more positive charge impose strong attraction over the electrons, and thus the electron cloud shrinks towards the nucleus, which results in the decreasing in the atomic size. How the atomic radius decreases from lithium to boron. That also shown in the figure. Okay, next, you know very well about atomic radius. Now we go to ionic radius. What is meant by ions? That is positive and negative atoms are called ions. That radius is known as ionic radius. That is, it is defined as distance from the center of the nucleus of the ions up to the point where it exerts in influence of the electron clouds. When the electrons are losses from an neutral atom, it becomes positively charged ions called cations. If electrons gained by the neutral atoms forms a negatively charged ions called anions. The size of the ions is important to determine their behavior. So, the size of the cation is also smaller than its corresponding neutral atom, but the anion is larger than its neutral atom. So, in period, atomic radius decreases along the period from left to right and increases down the group. Next, ionization energy. What is meant by ionization energy? The ionization energy is minimum energy required to remove an electron from a gaseous atoms in its ground state to form a cations. It is otherwise called as ionization enthalpy. It is measured in kilojoule per mole. If the ionization energy is high, it is more difficult to remove the electron. So, in period, we cannot remove the electrons from left to right. So, the ionization energy is increased along the period, but down the group it is increases because the electrons are loosely bounded in down the group. So, we can easily remove the electron from the group. The ionization energy decreases down the group in the periodic table. So, as the positive charge increases, the size of the cation decreases. As the negative charge increases, the size of the anion increases. Okay, thank you. Today's session is over. We will see later.